being Hope Atdon right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live. It is 25 minutes to the top of the hour. That is 8 a.m. and it is time to look at what is being reported in the dailies this morning. And we begin with the Standard. What are they reporting this morning? And they go with what's happening in the region. And they say RSF's tragic mission. And so they say a Kenyan pilot was killed in an attack by the Sudanese army at an airstrip controlled by the rebel Rapid Support Forces in northern Sudan. The pilot was reportedly on a covert mission supplying personnel and military hardware to the RSF, a revelation that risks tarnishing Kenya's image for a nation celebrated for its role in mediating regional conflicts and often dubbed an island of peace. The operation, linked to senior government officials, amounts to an embarrassing own goal in a volatile conflict. Indeed, an unfortunate situation there, and there is also there is a photo there of the pilot George Nyamodi, and other Kenyans were killed after Sudan army attacked RSF-controlled airport. And then there is a photo there of President William Ruto with the Sudan's Rapid Support Forces commander Hamdan Dagalo, and so that story is covered on page 4 inside the Standard. Still on the front page of the Standard, they go with the story Mothers Speak, and so pain, power, and the plea for dignity in delivery rooms. As the world honors mothers, Kenyan women share harrowing tales of childbirth neglect, courage, and hope, demanding dignity, safety, and compassion in hospitals where motherhood begins and too often is nearly lost. That is the Standard. That is what they are reporting. And then Music Copyright Society of Kenya CEO Ezekiel Mutua has offered his blessings to youth leaders Morara Kebaso and Kasmuel Makaure as they announced a new political alliance aimed at championing a change among Kenya's youth. Read that as well. Then there's other stories. Property owners with late land rate payments in Nairobi face a sweeping enforcement operation starting today when the grace period officially ends. So the Nairobi County has launched a crackdown on land rate and rent defaulters. And then constituents unrepresented as electoral gaps persist. You read that. And then Pope Leo XIV called for an end to war in the world as he greeted crowds from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica on Sunday in his second official public appearance since becoming the leader of the Catholic Church. You can read that as well inside the daily the Standard. And then the government has ordered the immediate shutdown of 23 television stations, including Kameme TV, for defying betting advertisement regulations. So you read that story as well. And the government steps up labor migration strategy with loans training. And health experts are warning of a potential resurgence of polio and measles in Kenya if the government fails to step up funding for immunization programs. You read that story as well inside the Standard. And the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has pledged support for church projects, but only with churches willing to accept donations. And so get that story. It's inside the Standard. And the pullout inside the Standard this morning is the health and science pullout. Faith leaders back cervical cancer jab by defying myths and mistrust. Religious leaders have rallied behind the human papillomavirus vaccine. This is to prevent cancer-related deaths among women, and that story is on page 4 and page 5. And then mood swings, how to spot and fix hormonal imbalance. It's a story that is covered on page 3. And management, a family's tough journey through stroke and healing. That is the health and science pullout That's inside the Standard this morning. Then we shift gear now. We look at what is being reported in the Daily Nation. And for them, they go with Ruto stumbles from one crisis to another. That is what they go with. President rode to power on the strength of lofty promises of creating jobs for hustlers. President Ruto has weathered several storms since assuming power in 2022. But after navigating one crisis, another crops up, testing even more the foundation of his administration. It's a story on page 4 and 5, and they have highlighted 11, some of the 11, the crises, they say: budget showdown and opposition to new taxes, uproar over IBC nominees, row with governors on county cash, a two-faced Raila Odinga, growing opposition to broad-based government, battling Kenyatta shadow, Gachagua fueling Mount Kenya rebellion, string of losses in court, public disquiet over performance by CSs, unfulfilled promises to the hustlers, and fallout over MP Were's murder and Gen Z killings. That's a story that is covered on page 4 and 5. And you can read that in detail. Then there's another story here: impunity, how rogue police officers are costing taxpayers millions in needless awards. So courts are increasingly awarding Kenyans hefty awards for trumped-up charges brought against them by rogue police, mostly linked to protests. And that's a story that is on page number 10. And then I see public schools demand fat bribes for new learners. So parents are complaining about fat bribes ranging between 40 to 100,000 shillings that head teachers are demanding to admit new learners in public schools. Can you imagine for your child? It's not an easy, transfer or even based on an interview or sorts. No. It is how much money you will offer for your boy or your girl to be admitted in that public school, which is quite unfortunate because, and we have had these conversations and parents complaining that they wanted their child to transfer. Maybe they even passed their exam, but then again they were asked to pay a particular amount of money which they were not able to. And so let's continue making noise and even exposing these, these head teachers. All right. Other stories: Joho dragged into Turkana gold mines feud. CS on the spot over irregular issue of licenses. It's on page 8. And then oil dealers inflate cooking gas prices by 3 times. Multinational oil marketing companies are raking in billions in profits from the sale of tax-free cooking gas, even as consumers pay exorbitant prices. Hey, this greed and selfishness. Wow. It's a story that is on page number 7. And then the DN2 pullout this morning is the junior sport, and you can read it inside the Daily Nation. And National Assembly rejects bid to include MCA's kitty in bill to amend the Constitution. All right. Read that also inside the Daily Nation. And Ruto allies attack Kalonzo on IEBC, and James Orengo, Odingaism and the return of 7 bearded sisters spirit. That is inside the Daily Nation. And then pain of village that lost 9 people in Elbagon road crash. Unfortunate there. You read that story. And Arsenal Fan TV founder Lyle on how to grow Kenyan football. You read that also. It's covered in the Daily Nation as well. And so that is what is being reported in the Daily Nation. Let's look at the Business Daily. And in the Business Daily, Kenya avoids IMF loans in favor of World Bank. So they say Kenya has not included funding from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in the budget for the year starting July, dodging the painful aid conditions such as higher taxes, job freezes, and spending cuts associated with the multilateral lender. And so budget documents documents tabled in Parliament indicate zero funding from the IMF in the 4 years to June 2029 compared to 50.2 billion set for the 2024-25 financial year. And so read that inside the Business Daily. And then KRA loses battle for the 1.7 billion shillings from roads maintenance levy. So KRA has lost its bid to tax billions of shillings collected monthly from motorists through the fuel levy meant for road maintenance. A tribunal has barred the taxman from seeking 1.7 billion shillings from the government-owned Kenya Roads Board, terming the levy and interest earned from billions sitting in accounts non-income and not liable for taxation. And that's a story on the Business Daily. And defaults on loans tapped to buy homes, land and vehicles shot up by nearly a fifth to 173.3 billion last year on elevated interest rates, triggering a wave of auctions. And 10 public-private projects valued at 131.9 billion are set to break ground in the next fiscal year, including the Galana Kulalu Food Security Scheme, the Treasury has said in fresh budget documents. And cash inflows wired by Kenyans living and working in Australia jumped 71% during the first 3 months of this year to hit $56.03 million, up from $32.7 million in a similar period last year. And so that is the Business Daily. And then finally, I wanted to see finally what Taifa Leo inaripoti nini hii leo. Anasema Oburu aonya Ruto, tutafanya kazi nao Kenya Kwanza hadi 2027, na iwapo watakuwa wamefanya kazi vizuri tutakubaliana, iwapo hawatafanya kazi vizuri tutatengana nao. Huo ni Oburu ambaye ameonya. Kakake Raila amwambia rais asitarajie kuungwa 2027 iwapo hataletea nchi ustawi. Na UDA na chama cha Museveni wafunzana. Na GSU amuua mtoto, mke na kujiua. Owino Uhuru, mtetezi wa haki, atishiwa, asema amekuwa akiandamwa na polisi kwa kuwajibisha NEMA na serikali. Ni gazeti la Taifa Leo, and a lot is being reported in the dailies this morning. Grab your favorite copy, get to read what's happening. Let's continue to pray for the well-being and the prosperity of our motherland, Kenya. Remember, Kenya prospers, you and I, we also prosper. We pave way for the video of the day.